been a good enough father. I don't want to be a good enough father.
Let's go, let's go!
Don't quit! Don't quit!
Hey, you know what? I thought your jump roping routine was really good.
I just got a notification that you moved money from our savings into your checking account.
Can we talk about this later?
You must be the real estate agent.
Well, it's so good to meet you.
Let me show you the house.
This is my favorite place in this house. I call it my war room.
You wrote prayers for each area of your life.
Prayer strategy.
I sure could use some of that. Tony, you should go see her practice tomorrow.
I'm out of town this week.
When were you going to tell me?
I just did.
Tony, that was my favorite rep.
I'm real good. How you doing?
I wish I lived at your house. Whenever my parents are together, they just fight.
Dude, I can't get a pass from you. It'd be easier to baptize a cat.
I just needed to blow off a little steam, okay?
There's one thing we do well. It's fight.
You do not want World War III to break out in your home.
No, I don't.
Just because you argue a lot doesn't mean that you fight well. You got to plead with God so that he can do what only he can do. Then you got to get out of the way and let him do it. You need to do your fighting in prayer.
Keep fighting the good fight. Keep letting your light shine. 'Cause
I've never seen anybody do what you did.
It's time for you to take off the gloves and fight for your marriage.
Keep fighting the good.
Lord, we need an army of believers. Lord, call us to battle. Raise them up, Lord, raise them
Keep
up.
fighting the good, fighting the good, fighting the good fight, good fight.
And joining me now to talk about the soon-to-be-released film War Room is actor T.C. Stallings and stand-up comedian Michael Jr. Hey, guys, welcome to the Harvest Show.
Well, hello, hey, how you doing? Thanks for having us.
Listen, I saw the trailer. I've seen it maybe 10 times because I didn't get a chance to get a sneak peek of the film. What an amazing movie. Awesome. T.C., let's start with you. What prompted you to take this role?
Well, first of all, it was a prayed upon decision, and that excited me. The Kendrick brothers said they prayed about it, and the Lord led them to me, so that was exciting first and foremost. And then secondly, when I read the script, Tony is just, this character has this amazing arc of emotion he has to go through, crying and pride and just a bunch of different things, and it calls on all my athletic abilities. So I saw it as a really challenging role to take, and so that excited me. And then the film would be all over, talking about prayer in films around the country, and it just was exciting, couldn't pass it up.
Well, was it a challenge for you? It was somewhat a departure from your other roles, correct?
Oh, it was a total 180. You know, I played a thug, you know, TJ and courageous, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm a pharmaceutical salesman, successful, and they had never seen me do anything like this. And but again, I was a prayed upon decision, so I was excited to take it on.
But you play a thug in real life, so that probably worked out. You know, back in the day, let's be real, so it wasn't that much of a stretch.
Okay, so the next question, of course, is for you, Michael Jr. Michael, I mean, I have never seen you in something where you were not funny. Tell us about your character.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me know that I can't stretch. You know, my character is really his best friend, keeping him accountable, and he's kind of straying away from family, and I notice it, and I have to check him, yet at the same time be somewhat of a comedic relief wherever I can. But just as a friend, it's the same thing. I want to be fun. We want to have fun together. But if I'm really a friend, I'll dig into him even if it feels like it hurts. So that's what the character does, and that's what I actually do in real life, the relationship that we actually have. You know, so it wasn't a huge stretch for me where he had to stretch from being a thug to a thug in other movies. But now he's actually wearing a suit. This dude can act. Like, he does a phenomenal, amazing job in this movie. Like you do, man. Like, I'm proud of you. For real. Don't get emotional and stuff. That's the only time you're going to see that much connection.
Okay, so Michael, let me just ask you this. Did you get a chance to improv a little?
This is what's so cool.
Oh.
This is what's so cool about the Kendrick brother in this film that's coming out on Friday. They actually wanted me, they wrote the script, and they also said, is there anything you want to add or take away? I was like, it's a phenomenal script. So then they let me take the takes that they wanted, and then they said, let us get a Michael Jr. one. And they let me do it any way I wanted to, and they used the Michael Jr. versions in pretty much all the takes, which really blessed me on a whole nother level that they would have that much confidence. And then they actually allowed me to give them some small notes on some other scenes that I'm not even in. So that just really encouraged me, and the film is.
If we had the Michael Jr. improv, we'd have a whole nother movie. That's how much he improv.
Yeah, but we wanted to be able to stay focused on prayer and stuff. Because, so it's a movie about prayer. But you laugh in this movie too. And here's the thing, most of the funny is not coming from me. Like, the movie just leans towards funny, even though it's not a comedy film. I think people are going to be moved when they see this film next Friday. I think everyone needs to see it. If you're a Christian, absolutely. If you're not, for sure, you should see the film, because it just everybody needs to pray. So it just shows you how you should get down as a person. If you're not praying to somebody, it's a great film. You just gotta see the movie. Like, it's phenomenal. I saw it, and it was don't get the bootleg either. That stuff is weird. Don't be that dude.
There will be no bootlegging going on. But TC, I want to talk with you about the power of prayer. This movie will no doubt resonate with people because, they want to jumpstart that prayer life. I know this film is about the power of prayer in your troubled marriage, but talk a little more about the backstory of it.
Well, Tony Jordan is a guy, he is totally driven by his job. He lives his life through his job. It's anything else, including Jesus, just pretty much gets in the way. And you'll see that with him. And you're gonna want him to change that around right in the beginning. You won't like him very, very much. You're gonna just be like, man, don't you just get it? Because he doesn't see it.
Yeah,
and
I don't
his
like
wife, his wife sees it. And so it starts to bother her, and she wants to turn things around, but she doesn't know how to do it. So she runs into Miss Clara. Miss Clara has been there, done that, prayer warrior, teaches Elizabeth how to pray. And then Elizabeth starts to do so, and it affects everything around her. And that's what I hope everybody gets a chance to see, that, your prayers can affect the lives of other people. You be praying for your children, your families, the world, the country, and then, let the Lord move in other people's lives on your behalf. And so you'll see that on screen, and it'll be something.
I think this film is actually, I like to say, a visual representation of how prayer works. Like, it really is. Most of the time we hear about prayer, we hear about the effects of prayer, it's something that we read or someone told us, and we had to create our own visual of what that must have looked like. Mm-hmm. This is actually a visual representation to get us all on the same page on how effective prayer can be. And there's greater stories, or greater true stories that have happened greater than this. And you can write one of those stories simply by creating your own war room out of an area in your house and creating a greater story for your life, your community, and the world simply by praying. And you'll be motivated when you see this movie to do so, because you'll see the effects of prayer. Like, for real. Like, I'm friends with him as a result of prayer, because normally I wouldn't hang around somebody like this dude, you know what I'm saying? But prayer made it work out, So I just want to throw that out there. That was...
Okay, guys, before I let you go, TC, would you talk to that person who's saying, I really want to start my prayer life. Will this film help me do that? And if so, what's the first step involved?
Well, the first step, ironically, is to pray. And I do believe it'll help you. And I would love to start with Scripture. Psalms 139:16 says this. You just got to decide if you believe it. It says, before you were formed, before you were even born, before God knew you, He formed you in the womb, and moment by moment He laid your life out before you ever lived a day. And if you believe that, then what does that say about your tomorrow, about your future, that God has already planned it out? So to get up and walk out and live life without consulting God about His plan for your life, you're just winging it. And this could explain all the confusion that you go through. But James 1:5 says, if you lack wisdom, ask me and I'll tell you. So to just wake up every single morning and say, Lord, this is your day. What do you want me to do? What's your plan for me? What's your purpose for me? And knowing that He will guide you should be all the inspiration anybody needs. And I think it just solves I know it solves all the confusion and all the problems that we face in the world, because now we're letting the Holy Spirit lead. And my life is a living example of that. I seek the Lord for everything, every single day. And so hopefully when people go see this movie next week, they'll be inspired to do the same thing, because what you're seeing on screen happens in real life. And so just for the fact that the Lord has a God-blessed, ordained purpose for your life should be motivation enough to seek Him daily for that plan.
T.C. Stallings
Boom.
and Michael Jr., thank you so much for joining me here on The Harvest Show.
Well done. That's how we do. We didn't have to look at the 5. We just happened. Some people got to look. They be like, high five. They got caught. Then they missed.
Sometimes they miss
the stuff. It's weird. We
Thanks for having us.
We worked it out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. War Room releases in theaters on August the 28th. For more information, visit warroomthemovie.com. Harvest continues in just a moment.